Hello, dear audience. Today, let us travel back to a time of heroism in the history of Vietnam, when the country was still covered in the smoke of war. Amid that suffering, a sacred legend was born. A story about patriotism, courage, and a miraculous sword sent by heaven to help the people reclaim their homeland. This is the legend of Guom Lake in Hanoi, also known as the Lake of the Returned Sword. Long ago, the land of Dai Viet was invaded by the Ming army from the north. They burned villages, enslaved the people, took away our food and treasures, and left behind endless grief. Yet even in those dark days, the fire of resistance still burned in the hearts of our people. In the mountainous region of Lam Son, a hero named Le Loi rose up to lead the uprising. He was a man of wisdom, bravery, and deep compassion for his people. From a young age, Le Loi carried a dream: to save his homeland and bring peace back to his people. But in the beginning, the Lam Son insurgent army was small and weak. Food was scarce, weapons were few, and the enemy was vast and powerful. Many times they had to retreat deep into the jungle to survive. Yet, through all hardship, Le Loi never wavered. He always believed, heaven will never abandon those who fight for righteousness, and the people will never forget their country. One day, in Thani Hoa, a fisherman named Le Thon was casting his net in the river. When he pulled it up, he saw something shiny trapped inside. Thinking it was a big fish, he reached for it, but to his surprise, it was only a rusty piece of metal. Disappointed, he threw it back into the water. Yet, when he cast his net again, the same object appeared. A third time, it happened once more. Astonished, Le Thon decided to bring it home. He cleaned off the mud and discovered that it was actually a sword blade, with strange inscriptions glowing faintly in golden light. Later, Le Thon joined Le Loi's army and offered the blade to his leader. Not long after that, one night deep in the forest, Le Loi saw a beam of light shining near an old tree. He walked closer and found a golden sword hilt engraved with the figure of a dragon. As he held it in his hands, the light from the hilt merged with the light from the blade that Le Thon had found earlier. When he joined them together, they fit perfectly and shone brilliantly, illuminating the entire forest. Le Loi knew at that moment that this was the divine sword sent by heaven, a gift from Long Quan, the Dragon King, to help save the nation. From that day on, the power of the army grew stronger. Le Loi wielded the divine sword and led his troops into battle. Wherever he went, victory followed. The sword gleamed like lightning, filling the enemy with fear. The people rose up across the land, joining the Lam Son cause. One battle after another, the army triumphed, and after many long years of hardship, they finally defeated the Ming invaders and restored peace to Dai Viet. Le Loi ascended the throne and became King Le Loi II, bringing prosperity and freedom back to the nation. During his reign, King Le Loi II cared deeply for his people. He rebuilt villages, restored the farmlands, and worked tirelessly to heal the wounds of war. The people rejoiced, praising their wise and benevolent king. Yet deep in his heart, Le Loi always remembered the divine sword, the symbol of heaven's will and the unity of his people. One peaceful day, when the country was finally at rest, the king and his court took a boat ride on Ta Vong Lake, right at the heart of Thang Long Citadel. The wind was gentle, and the water shimmered like a mirror beneath the sunlight. Suddenly, the sword at the king's side began to tremble, glowing with blinding light. Everyone on the royal boat was stunned. Then, from the surface of the lake, the water began to ripple, and rising slowly from the depths appeared a giant golden turtle. Its eyes were bright and wise, and its voice echoed across the lake. "Your Majesty, Long Quan sent me to retrieve the divine sword. Heaven granted it to you so you could defeat the invaders. Now that peace has been restored, please return the sword to its rightful owner." The king was silent for a moment. He then understood. Heaven's mission had been fulfilled. With calm reverence, King Le Loi drew the sword, held it high, and offered it toward the turtle. The divine blade shone like the sun. The turtle took the sword in its mouth and slowly sank back into the clear blue water. Ripples spread across the lake, shimmering like silver. From that day on, Ta Vong Lake was renamed Guom Lake, or Hoan Kiem Lake, the Lake of the Returned Sword. The story of Guom Lake is not just a legend. It is a timeless symbol of patriotism, righteousness, and the sacred bond between heaven and the people of Vietnam. For generations, when visitors come to Hanoi, they all stop by Hoan Kiem to admire Thap Rua, the Turtle Tower, standing quietly in the middle of the tranquil water, guarding the soul of the legend. Thank you so much for watching this story on Vietnam Folktales. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more traditional tales from our culture, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to support the channel. Your support is the biggest motivation for us to create more beautiful stories about Vietnam's heritage. See you again in the next story.